哎，靠腰，他不能从这里进去啊！哎，是你吗？
Hey, Milda. Took some of your stew last time I went into the wilds.
哇，
Kept me going for
是韩国人吧？
Felt like I could have put a strider in a sleeper hole.
Enjoy it while it lasts.
Sounds like you're serving up some impressive provisions here.
Not again. You can have the discount too, but you'll have to come back later.
I think you have me confused with someone else.
Oven didn't send you?
No.
Oh, my apologies. It's just that his minions won't stop pestering me. Now I've even worn out my special grill. Since I'm in the midst of a crisis, perhaps you could skip to what it is you wanted?
Some of your food?
Of course.
Are Ulvin's people causing you problems?
Oh, yeah. They constantly demand my best, but the equipment I need to make my signature dishes isn't built for batch cooking. And don't get me started on the Ulvin discount they feel so entitled to.
友情价。
If you refuse?
I make meals, not trouble.
How did you end up in Chainscrape?
Heard about a new and upcoming town at the edge of the frontier. Where there's a town, there's a tavern. I was in need of work. So I got myself out here and started cooking. Some of these people had never tasted proper boars and berries stew before. Anyway, next thing I knew, people kept coming back. Guess they liked my food. Or the ale.
Your last customer mentioned your cooking really kept him going out in the wild. Where I'm headed, I could use some of that.
I would be happy to oblige, especially since you have the decency to ask pleasantly. But my special groove griddle is no more. Without it, I can't cook any of my signature dishes. I hate to think what'll happen when I'm forced to refuse Ulvin or his goons. Even if I already had the right ingredients, there's nothing I can do. Unless you can source me a temporary replacement?
What do you need?
For the ingredients, a few pieces of decent wild meat.
Oh dear.
I'd say a big handful of bitter leaf stems. That'll do. As for the griddle, a corrugated metal panel might suffice until I can have a new one forged. You'd likely find one in a scrounger pile if you follow the river to the northeast.
植物者。
Don't worry, I'll clean it first. You'll have no issue finding boars and bitter leaf on your way. Assuming you're as much a hunter-gatherer as your clothing suggests.
Thanks, Mildif. I'll keep an eye out.
So that's what gratitude sounds like.
And don't let anyone push you around, okay?
If you say so.
勇气入菜。
Meat and bitter leaf.
Ah, hello.
About that. What did you need?
A corrugated. I can use. I could probably pull one out. I'll
不要
clean it
是那
first.
个铁盘啊
And for the dish itself, then I can get cooked.
I should be going.
Right.
我的眉毛。爆破高舞。 个话吧。但你不跟我讲话呢。Hello, can we talk? Hello, fuck. 哎，
Change your mind about that brew?
No one wants to play
So
strike.
glad you stopped by.
No?
Lots of folks here will want to say
Anyway.
hi, I'm sure.
Come to revel
机
in
器
some
初
strike,
级
mister?
游戏
Let
版
me。set the board.
I was just passing by.
First timer, huh? Don't worry about it. I'll go.
这旗子还要自己带啊？
Any pieces?
No.
Well, aren't you in luck then? I got an extra set, a Tanakh original straight out of the Forbidden West. Sit. I'll run you through it in a hot spark. I'll give you something special if you win it on my boards, too.
手教学。Please， 那小。
All right, let's start off simple. The Tanakh like to say that Machine Strike is a game of pure
纯
strategy.
策略游
We
戏，
each get a set of pieces. Each piece represents a kind of machine, and each machine is worth a different number of victory points. And to win the game, you'll need to gain 7 victory points by destroying the opponent's machines. It can be tricky remembering the details of every machine, so we use these notes to keep track of them. You see that number on the top right corner? That there is how many victory points you'll get for destroying that machine. Notes also tell you how far a piece can move,
2步
how powerful their attacks are,
攻击力，
the distance they can strike from,
队员能攻击多少，
and of course, their health.
血量。
Okay, that's enough for now. Let's just play. I'll explain the rest as we go. I own the board, so I get to choose who goes first. Since this is your first time, I'll let you go. Usually you get to choose which pieces to set on the board, but this will do for now. Pick up that machine piece to your right, and move it forward.
好，
And remember, each machine can only move a certain distance. Take a look at your notes if you need a reminder. Just need to, move that machine forward, Red. Gotta move that machine forward. Move that machine.
什么意思啊？
Just need to, move that. Easy enough, huh?
我还只能先那
You
样
can
子
move
哦。
two machines each round.
包仔，
Just need to,
啊，我还不能往
perfect. There's not much else to do for now, so just end your turn. We're forging onwards. Let me move my pieces here.
大家那2个都往前游，不就死了？
And we're back to you.
为什么？
This time, why don't you try attacking one of my pieces? Try with that machine on your right first. Now move the piece close enough. When performing an attack, you'll be testing a machine, and this board only has grass and your current machine. So in total, your machine's since my machine isn't the one attacking, it has 0 points of it. And just like your machine, it's not affected by grassland terrain. So this means your machine can do 2 points of damage to my machine. Did you get all that?
大概。
Knew you were a smart one. Finish up by attacking my machine. Come on now, attack my machine so we can move on.
抱歉。
Not pulling any punches, huh? Now grab that second machine of yours. See how your machine can't move close enough to attack mine? You can make your machine sprint. That lets it move 1 space further.
冲刺。
Downside to sprinting is that your machine can no longer attack. Now some players like to take a risk and overcharge their machine.
Oh, 超载机器。
Overcharging lets you attack after a sprint, but it will damage your machine's health so use at your own risk. Let's try doing that now. That's about it for your turn then. Now, I'll let you in. That machine of yours, the one closest to me, grab a hold of it. Same as in the wilds, machines have both armored points and weak points. You can see them marked on the pieces.
哦，红色的。
Their armor is thickest. Hit them there and you'll do some damage, but not a lot. Now, red shows the machine's weak points. Hit those and you'll deal a mighty blow. Here, let me show you. Rotate that piece so your machine faces mine. Rotate that machine so it faces... Gotta rotate that machine if you want to attack my piece. It's easy. Rotate your machine for me.
我把椅子转过。
Gotta rotate that machine.
小了。旋转机器面向敌人机器的事情。
Rotate that machine. Now let that...
还是要这样哦。
Off the board she goes, and there's your first victory points. You don't have 7 of them yet, so let's keep going. Your machine attacked mine, but hasn't moved. Go ahead and move downwards towards my remaining... You've already attacked a machine and moved your piece, but if you, and by the look of your machine, you'd be sacrificing your, but sometime overcharge your machine to it. Ain't that a thrill? Now, because your machine was knocked out at the same time as we both get the victory points our machines are worth. Good news is, so you're going to receive your victory points before I do, which means you can reach the coveted 7 victory. That's why sometimes losing a piece. Now, you'll notice you didn't get quite up to 7, but you did destroy. That means that wasn't so hard, was it? Just remember to always check for the best. You'd be surprised the advantage. I know it saved my behind it.
I'll try.
Oh, these are all my spare pieces. I want the Savior of Meridian. It's a small set to be, but it should be enough to get. You might even fancy looking out for them strike carvers. They've got all kinds of unique pieces, though they'll need the right materials to craft you one. Or, no, I've lost my fair share of pieces after a night of machine hunt or brew hopping. Now, if you feel like I could even teach you a few.
Thanks.
地形击退教学，要把打打看。
Let's do this. Your move, Red. That's it for me. Just one piece left. My turn.
Oh.
Knocked right off the board. You got me. Fair and square.
好酷哦！哇，新手教学还有中等，地形及击退教学。
Ah, I knew I'd make a strike player out of you yet. How about this time I tell you how to use a board's terrain to your advantage? This one's got all the different terrains you can encounter in a game of Strike. Knowing when and how to use them can mean the difference between victory and defeat. Terrain mainly affects your machine's combat power. As you know, when fighting an opponent's machine, you compare its combat power to yours. The higher your machine's combat power, the more damage you can do. So finding the right terrain is an essential strategy for overpowering your opponent. Here, I'll show you. Grab that piece to your left and move to attack my machines. Now the combat power and the value of the terrain it's standing on. Since your machine is attacking, it's using its 2 points of attack power. It's also standing on forest terrain with a value of 1 point. Add those together, and my machine is standing on grassland terrain with a value of 0 points. It's also not attacking, which means their attack points aren't in play. So my combat power is 0. This means your machine. Go ahead and test it out. There you go. Now, choosing the right terrain doesn't just improve your offense. It can also help defend your machine. Grab your other piece and place it in front. Since it's standing on grassland terrain, this terrain has a value of 0. This means your machine's combat power adds up to 2 points. My machine can't use their attack power since they're defending their position. But they have the higher ground. They're standing on forest terrain, which is worth 1 point. This means my combat power adds up to 1 point. Now, the front of my machine is colored blue. This means that the spot you're about to attack, which means my machine gets... If we compare the combat power of... You'll see that you won't be able to do... Whenever you're unable to top, you can still choose to attack and break their machine's defense. Go ahead, try it out. See? When you break a machine's defenses, you can knock it backwards. Sure, both our machines will receive 1 point of damage, but knocking my machine off that terrain makes it more vulnerable to attacks. Not only that, if my machine had been blocked, it would have received an extra point of damage. And if my machine had been blocked by another, that machine would have received... That's why breaking a machine is a great way to deal damage to several pieces at once. There's still one more thing I want to show you. All right, as we've seen, however, there are 2 other terrains that work a little differently. This is what we call a chasm. Only flying machines can be placed on those. But it'll take away 2 combat points if you do, so be wary. This is marsh terrain. Landing on it will take away 1 combat power point from most machines. It'll also keep your machine from moving for the rest of the turn. Here, let me show you. Grab that machine on your left. See? All you can do now is wait for your next turn to move again. Or you can overcharge your machine to get out of there. You can still attack any nearby enemies so you're not completely helpless. Well, I think that's enough yammering from me for now. Promise it'll all come in handy next time you play.
Okay.
Here for more tips? Why don't I tell you a bit more about the pieces we used to play? In a normal game, you get to choose which machines you place on the board. Each one is worth a certain number of setup points, and you can spend up to 10 assembling your army. Knowing what each machine brings to the game and building an army that matches your strategy is the key to becoming a machine strike master. When assembling your army, there are a few things to keep in mind. First and foremost, you can never have more than 4 of the same machine on the board at the same time. With that in mind, most players would choose machines based on how far they can move or how much attack power they have. But a real strike player will be looking at a machine's type and skills. Let's take a quick look, shall we? Pick up
左
that
边
machine
的
on
武
the left.
机器，
All right, let's talk about the different ways in which a machine attacks its opponents. In other words, if you look at your notes, you'll see this
Done.
machine here is a melee type. You can also tell by the shape of the base the piece stands on. A melee type machine attacks the first enemy within range, and no one else.
啊，然
We've
后
seen
嘞
this，plenty of times, so just move that piece forward so I can show you some more stuff.
钱，
Great, now grab your other machine. Looks like we've got ourselves a gunner type machine here.
炮系，
This means they'll only hit the farthest enemy in their attack range. Let's move that machine forward and end your turn so we can take a look at the rest of the pieces. Let's go with this piece first. This is a ram type machine. Attack an enemy with it and it'll push the piece backwards. Like this. See, now my
Ooh.
machine has taken over your machine's spot on the board. This is a great way to take the advantage away from your opponent if they have the higher ground. Looks like we have one more piece to look at. Now this is when it attacks, every machine in its path, including your own. So make sure you take a good look at the board before you send it off to the races. You should also make sure it's otherwise you won't be able to attack at all. Here, I'll show you.
啊，我靠，
Look, it even rotated your piece. A nifty little piece you'll definitely want in your set. If you look at your notes, you'll notice this particular machine has one of the skills. There's quite a few of those, and we haven't even, but I'm pretty sure it's got all the tips and tricks. I think that about does it for now. You know where to find me, Red.
是，
Red!
啊，还要把那个都玩完，中等的要玩完。
Good luck. Time to get serious. Your turn. I was hoping you wouldn't do that. Time to make my move.
哇 ！Holy
One
shit！
last piece on the board. Off the board it goes. Hey, I that piece where it was. That
Wow.
was brutal. You're up, Red. Ah, down to one piece. I might win this thing. Board's all yours. Well, that's done now. Board's all yours. Okay, let's see.
我靠，是啊。
I won! Oh, but I'll play you again if you want. Let's play.
有点难哦。
Your move, Red. Time to get serious. That's it for me. Oh, seriously? One less piece on the board. Oh, you hit that weak spot all right. Well, that's done now.
Holy shit!
You're up, Red. That was brutal. Okay, let's see. Looks
Oh.
like you're down to one piece. Knocked right off the board. My turn.
完了会死。还有2次攻击。
That's the game. You up for a rematch? Here we go. Time to make my move.
嗯，
Your turn. the board it goes.
哇，这一下直接
Well,
死
that's
掉。
done now. Guess I shouldn't have left that weak spot open, huh? That was brutal. You're up, Red. A single machine left? That ain't good. Hey! Oh, that was the perfect
Bye bye.
shot. Oh, I thought I had that one.
That's good.
This is gonna be fun. Your
我不
turn.
知道要摆啥小。
I'm up. Your move, Red. That was a surprise.
靠背有那个去给他死的、哦。
One less piece on the board. That's it for me. Knocked right off the board. I was hoping you wouldn't do that. Time to get serious.
哇哦，
Ah, off the board it goes. Ah, off the board it goes. My turn. Well, that's done now. Fearless. I'm up.
我死光喽！棒！
Oh, I won! Probably shouldn't sound so surprised, huh? Let's do this.
嗯， 反正嘛乱放，你会知道要放。
Okay, let's see. Board's all yours. Oh, seriously? Knocked right off the board.
靠杯忘记。
One less piece on the board. That was brutal. Knocked right off the board. That was brutal. Well, that's done now. Board's all yours. Hey! Oh, that was the perfect spot.
然后嘞，去死吧！
Now that was a game, even if I lost.
一般挑战。小啊。然后嘞，开始挑战。
Here we go. Your
哇，
turn.
很多只哎。
Time to make my move. That's it for me.
冲撞型，为什么只扣1呀？
Hey, I like that piece where it was.
是吧？
Ah, off the board it goes.
哦，
One less piece on the board. You're up, Red. That was brutal. I'm up.
哇，
Knocked right off the board. Okay, let's see.
Get。不要
One
啊！弃局，弃局，
guess
弃
you're
局！
done, huh?
哎，这好麻烦哦。
Don't be a
哦，
stranger.
不玩，不玩，不玩，先不玩了，好累。啊，不是啊，我要怎么出去啊？
Knew you couldn't resist some good company. Come for that beer after all, eh? Here, sit down. Get a pint in her hand. Wasn't expecting you to swing by.
Since when do I do what's expected?
There's that spark. Fire and spit.
Fire and spit.
That's a blast from the bellows. Won't fix the forge, but at least I can forget about my troubles for a while.
Like what?
Take your pick. We got bodies to bury from the bristlebacks, the work stoppage, Olvin grating the gears about his concession decree. Hey! Weapons off the table!
Sorry。
Ah, don't listen to me. Nothing a cold brew and knocking some heads together can't fix eventually.
So the bristlebacks in the Daunt.
好腰啊！哎，大哥啊，气质，
Where
气
did they come
质。
from? That's the thing. No one rightly knows. They just showed up one day, rampaging around the valley like they exploded out of a forge. Lost some good people. But I heard talk of some vanguards trying to take them down.
Did they come through here?
Stopped by briefly for supplies. Ulvund was none too pleased. Won't be able to crank it to his advantage once the bristlebacks are gone.
But how could bristlebacks and the Daunt help Ulvund?
2 words. Concession decree. Since no one knows where the bristlebacks came from, Ulvund has taken to blaming the Karja for them.
阿尔加
So he
人
can dig
头
up
上
enough old resentments to get a strike going until the concession's signed. This is just his latest attempt. He's been trying to rile up the workers since the day he rolled into town.
And people actually believe him?
Lots of folks suffered at the hands of the Mad King during the Red Raids. Give him half a reason, they'll blame the Karja for anything.
Damn Karja slavers.
阿尔加奴里。
I thought you'd be back in Freeheap.
Well, after the big battle at Meridian, I but realized it was running smooth. Didn't need me. Heard about the rebuilding out at Barren Light. Figured they could use another hammer. Been scraping by ever since.
You could always leave.
And go back east? Nah. I ain't one to leave a lit forge. Besides, someone's gotta be a squeaky wheel for the workers around here.
So about Ulvund.
Around here, everything's about Ulvund.
How'd he end up in charge?
He got here early, like a squirrel smelling a fat nut.
早来早享受。
In Barren Light would need stone and timber. So he jangled purses all over Mainspring, getting investors to front claims on anything in the Daunt that might be worth a damn. Thing is, all the bankers back home know that this is Karja land, and the Sun King can revoke those claims at any time. That's why he's desperate for the magistrate to sign off on a concession decree.
This concession decree, what is it exactly?
It's pegged it.
A writ that would put all Osram claims in the Daunt under Osram law, even though they're on Karja land. It would mean that any existing ore, stone, and timber claims couldn't be revoked by the Karja. No more risk, no more hesitation for investors back in the claim to pour in the shards and expand their business. And since Ulvund has a stake in all those claims, it would make him richer than a scrapper in a junk heap. Not to mention Chainscrape would become an Osram municipality, so he could buy enough votes to call himself an elderman. He's a sly old badger, I'll give him that. Figures if he keeps up the pressure, eventually the magistrate will sign.
Well, I have to be going. Thanks for the drink, Petra.
他都有喝吗？他好像都在讲话，听他讲话，没喝吧？艾伦德，
One brought break.
不免费移动。移动，这还有一个萤火。不明冲撞者。先去上面看一下那个问号，我先把它拿下。